Yo, new video. My dog is here. He's in the background. Where is he? Right there. He wants to stay here, so he's gonna be here. And I think it kind of actually relates to the video or the concept that I'm trying to communicate here, which is I realize the huge downside to morning routines in all these situations where we encourage, having a perfect situation in order to be productive. And, I realize I'm just going to go through my morning, right, today. My morning today, and there's a reason why I'm going through my morning today. It's going to relate to the video, but I'll explain to you exactly my thought process and why I made the decisions I made, and I think that is the biggest evidence or teller of anything here. So I wake up. I was supposed to wake up at 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m., right? Because I went to sleep late. I woke up earlier for some reason. I woke up at 7:40 in the morning, right? And the first thought on my mind was, damn, I woke up way earlier. The first thought on my mind was, damn, I woke up way earlier than I was supposed to. Let me try to sleep again, which for me never works. I struggle with sleeping on command a lot. So let me try to sleep again was the first thought. Didn't work. And then I was like, damn, this is the third night in a row where I've not gotten a good amount of sleep. And I feel really bad. I don't want to get up because I don't want to accept this small amount of sleep that I'm getting, like 6 hours instead of 8 or something like that, right? And I feel really bad. So I'm going to check social media and check how my new video is doing. And, there you go. There's a video notification right there. But I'm going to check out how my video is doing. Then I go on YouTube. I check YouTube for a bit, doom scroll. I check Instagram for a bit, doom scroll. I check Twitter for a bit, doom scroll. I check Discord for a bit, doom scroll. Now, the reason I'm making the decision to doom scroll in this case is because I feel ashamed of I'm not ready enough to work because I've only gotten 6 hours of sleep and not 8 hours of sleep. And that shame is a lot to deal with, so I would rather doom scroll instead of accepting it and dealing with the shame of it. So I've wasted time, and now it's 9:30 a.m. Damn near 2 hours probably wasted in a mixture of trying to go back to sleep and doom scroll. But the reason I'm doom scrolling is not because I'm bored, but it's because I'm mad I woke up earlier. And now I've wasted 2 hours just screwing around because I just can't deal with the emotion. Now I've realized I've wasted 2 hours, because I can't deal with the emotion that I wasted or got up earlier than I wanted to. So I waste more time to a degree. And now I'm like, dude, you know what? This day's cooked. Let's come back tomorrow. This day's cooked. I'm moving sluggish. I'm not getting what I want to get done. I'm not getting through the day. Currently, it's 10 a.m. right now, right? But 2 hours were spent in shame because I felt like I wasn't good enough to do something like this or do the work that I was assigned to do because I felt like I was not ready for a wide variety of things. And this shit extends deeper than just what I'm talking about here. I'm insecure about my eye bags. Or sometimes I look in the mirror. Every time I look in the mirror in the morning, I'm like, shit, bro. I got bags on my eyes because I don't feel like I'm getting enough sleep. I don't know if it's a genetic thing or just a sleep. But then that kind of goes into my insecurity about a lack of being attractive. And I get reminded into that every single time I look in the morning and I don't get amount of sleep. And then that is the thing I don't want to deal with, so I'd rather doom scroll. I'm not saying that these are things everyone goes through. But look at the immense amount of thought pattern of shame because I wasn't good enough to be something or do something. And look how that shame was used, instead of being directly addressed, was used to continue to waste time, to continue to destroy the day, destroy myself. Because I felt like I wasn't good enough to have this conversation. I might not be thinking perfectly for this conversation. I might not look the greatest if I don't get a perfect 8 hours every single day. These are the thoughts that I deal with. And then every day, if things don't go exactly the way I want in the morning, I start getting this immense amount of shame, and I don't want to deal with that shame, so then I doom scroll. And then I ruin the day. So, solutioning here was I had to kind of realize, like, the day's not over. The thing is not over. I'm not, like, cooked because I didn't get the perfect amount of sleep. I'm not cooked because of any of these qualities. You know, if I do get bags in my eyes or whatever the hell, I'm not cooked. The day is still done, and productivity doesn't come from to people who create the perfect environment. Productivity comes to people who want to be productive, who continue to show up. And this is something I was realizing a couple days ago. I originally thought, like, hey, you can 100% control your reactions to actions. You can 100% control your reaction to actions. You can't control the actions that happen to you, right? Fair enough point. Like, a lot of externalities in life, like how a video does or any of that kind of stuff, these are things that you can't control. But your reactions to things, like how you deal with things, if you get angry, if you don't, you can control. This is the belief that has been taught in so many motivational like videos and stuff like that. And I think it's bullshit. Because there's one thing they're wrong about, which is you can't control your reactions to things either. I mean, technically I could have controlled that situation and not chose to doom scroll. But at the same time, I didn't know I'd be met with the shame. And to a degree, you can't control your reactions to certain actions. You can't completely control yourself to be this perfect person, which kind of sounds contradictory to what I'm saying. Like, you can't control yourself to feel things. Your feelings will come up and down, but you can control yourself to do things. And you can control yourself to set up environments that gravitate to how you feel and take advantage of the positive and negative and use them efficiently. Because no matter how much you look smacks your life, you're going to get angry on some days. You're going to have these days, and understanding these quote-unquote weaknesses or uncontrollable aspects of your personality or how you get affected by things and working with them rather than against them creates a better option. You know? So that sounds like a contradiction. I know a little bit of a ramble there, but like basically I realize I can't, for example, social media. I know if I check social media, I'm going to probably feel negatively. No matter how well things are doing, I'm going to probably feel negatively, right? I can't control my reaction to social media, but I can control my ability to open social media. But even in cases where I am imperfect and I say I'm going to open social media and I don't. This is the big thing I had to learn. Even in those cases, I sit there and I say I don't want to check social media in the morning, and I do check social media in the morning. That is the moment where I can still control myself. And I can control myself from not shaming myself immediately and giving myself forgiveness and moving on to what actually needs to be done. I can control myself to not shame myself and not let me not living up to myself get in the way of me conquering the day. Because, dude, I just wasted 2 hours on doom scrolling. Agreed, right? But it's 10 a.m. I have 12 hours probably of work I can do. You know what I mean? I have 12 hours I can conquer. It's 10 a.m. So if I sit here and start shaming myself about 2 hours I wasted over the course of 12 hours, then I have wasted 14 hours. And listen, I technically could have controlled myself to stop doing something like that. But there's days where you're going to mess up. And if you don't accept that, then you're going to constantly be living with the shame of not being perfect, which is going to prevent you from actually making progress. This could be the most productive day I've had in 3 months because I have 12 hours. Or I could sit here and beat myself up about 2 hours. The day's not done. I didn't get 8 hours of sleep, but maybe I got like 6. You know? I can beat myself up about not reaching that, or I can be like, dude, there's people crackheads off 3 hours of sleep that do things. So you got to make your choice, man. I'm getting to a bunch of calls, man. I got to check in on what's going on. But that's the main lesson I think I have here. You need to not let your past failures and the shame of your past failures get in the way of the remaining time you have. Because usually the remaining time you have is 100 times more important than the time that you've lost. So don't let the failures, even if you took an L, even if you did the most lazy thing ever, even if you're in your 40s and you're like, damn, I wasted my 20s. Don't waste another 10 years thinking about how you wasted your 20s. Then you've wasted 30 years. Or math doesn't work, but you see what I'm saying. Don't waste more time thinking about how you wasted time and get to business. And show up every single day and do what you need to do. Whether you feel bad, do it badly, bro. I need to get better at that. I need to get better at just committing, sitting here, and drooling like a slob for 50 minutes on a task. Doing it terribly, but doing it. Doing what I said I'm going to do, whether I do it with an F quality or an A quality. Because every day I make a choice. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't do this work because it's too hard. So I'm going to do something with a zero productive benefit, which is doom scrolling. But if the work becomes easy because I don't have to do it well, then I make the right decision because I can always do it better after I do it bad. But we need to continually show up for ourselves and show up for productive moments, whether we failed in the past or not, whether we've had off days or not, whether we've had off hours. Especially people give up whole days because they were unproductive for hours, like I'm about to do right now. But this video is a middle finger to that idea of, hey, I did mess up 2 hours, and I'm probably going to have a moment like this again. And if I keep shaming myself for messing up things, I'm not going to get more work done. That shame is unproductive to me. And that's the con of the self-improvement industry and these people. Like, I watch this guy called Brian Johnson trying to live forever. He has a perfect routine. I'm not hating on him. But now that I know about his perfect routine, I'm thinking about how imperfect my routine is. And now I have a new routine that's way more perfect, way more good. But guess what? When I fail that routine, I think about how I'm going to die early. I start shaming myself for being such a terrible person because I know what Brian Johnson's doing. But there's people who have shitty routines and eat shitty food and sleep in the worst ways possible and do way worse than you in all these areas. And somehow they feel like they're good enough to get up in the morning and do what they need to do. There's people off 3 hours of sleep. And I'm not saying you're lazy. I'm saying there's people who are dumb. They're lazy. They're all these things. But they sit there. They doom scroll TikTok for 2 hours. And then they think, I'm going to just get some work done right now. Because they don't shame themselves and they move on to the next thing. There's people with lazier than you who are doing more. That's the best way to say it. So don't let yesterday and don't let last hour get in the way of the next hour. Every hour is a power hour, I guess. Every hour is a new chance. Every minute is a new chance.